from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, CSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Today, the finale of a 10-game homestand. The Astros meet the Toronto Blue Jays. Good afternoon, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby, along with Julia Morales. After perhaps the best game of the year, the Astros won it last night 8-2. Ash.
It was a good ball game. Well pitched. Actually, on both sides, both pitchers dealing and throwing strikes. So it was fun to watch in that regard. The game moved along, but offensively, the Astros had, I believe, 13 hits on the night. They were hitting the long ball and having a lot of fun, Jose Altuve type stuff.
Jose Altuve showed his base running skills during that game, among other things. In the fifth inning, he was at first, bad pickoff throw. He winds up scoring on this.
Yeah, it was not a pretty piece of footage there for the Toronto Blue Jays, but for Jose Altuve and the Astros, this is a lot of fun. Jose going first to home on that poor throw, and then there is the decision to bring in Tony Sipp. He, on the first pitch, allows this bomb. Otherwise, might have been a bomb, but for Robbie Grossman, who pulls it out of the seats, and that was a huge play. But then John Singleton comes right back, and as he leaves the box, not digging, but now he realizes it is time to go, put on the burners. Pat Listash has the arm waving, and initially called out at the plate. John Singleton eventually ruled safe with the replay, and that was a big run for the ball club as well. L.J. Ho's got in the act defensively as he came to the seats and joined the family outing for the folks. Just a really good night for the ball club. A lot of effort obviously being put into it, and when it's all said and done, a nice W.
You mentioned 13 hits. Here are some of the showcase performers last night. Chris Carter had 3. John Singleton also with a big night, as we just saw. Jason Castro and Jose Altuve.
Now, Jose Altuve, 47th multi-hit game of the year, leading the major leagues in that regard. But, you know, for me, maybe Chris Carter and Jason Castro, watching them start to get the bats together. Of course, then I think John Singleton, why not? But Chris Carter has continued to swing a very nice bat now as we move into August.
Coming up, say cheese. And did we mention Mike Fultonevich? The young fireballer made an electrifying debut in front of Mom and set the fans ablaze with some serious heat. How's he feeling the morning after? Julia finds out when we come back. Comcast Sportsnet's presentation of Houston Astros baseball is presented by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box for the new Jalapeno Ranch or BBQ Ultimate Cheeseburgers at participating restaurants.
This afternoon, the Astros hosting the Blue Jays just one last time this season, trying to take 3 of 4 in this 4-game set. A very exciting win for the Houston Astros last night, but the night might have been even more exciting for one player, specifically right-handed pitcher Mike Foltynewicz, making his major league debut yesterday for the Houston Astros. Friends and family in town to watch him as he got the call in the 8th. A great debut for Folty, but a big at-bat versus Jose Bautista that we want to look at again, where Folty came out, got his first man out, but versus Bautista threw 4 fastballs. The first one you saw was high, then 3 pumping in at 99 miles per hour, got him swinging there. Family very, very excited. That's how it looked. But here's how Folty felt in his debut.
I was definitely real nervous when I got the call in the 7th inning that you're going to have the 8th. I was definitely nervous, didn't know what to do, and just walking in, just trying to run in and keep my feet, don't trip, and I was definitely nervous out there, and it didn't really sink in until I faced Rasmus. My legs were kind of shaking, my whole body was shaking after, I was pitching Bautista, and Rasmus came up, I was just shaking, I was like, oh my God, what do I do? So I was just trying to throw strikes, just to let him hit the ball and get out the inning and have everything settled after that. But I was more nervous than I've ever been in my whole life.
Folty received the ball from that very first strikeout and from his first out as well. He will continue to pitch out of the bullpen. He is the 7th player for the Astros to make his major league debut this season. It's been a lot of fun. Coming up, don't go anywhere. The Astros were fired up on the field and in the dugout last night. Now they have a chance for a 500 homestand and a series win over the once hot Blue Jays. Can they seize the day and keep the party going? Brownie and Ash are back with the call next.
Biggest surprise for us tonight is that the roof was open. There's a high drive left field. Carter will go into a strike. Long run for Chris Carter. Here's the long throw from Valencia. And it's not in time, and he gets away. And he's coming home. Here's the throw. And the Astros have the lead on the man down from first by Jose Altuve. Fly ball right field deep. Robbie Grossman is running out of room. That's a big-time play. And he comes back to strike out Bautista.
3 straight 99-mile-an-hour heaters.
Standing ovation for Mike Foltynewicz. Center field, majestic, soaring shot. Headed deep into right center. Wow, that's going to carry him, and he may be able to get an inside the park homer on this. It's It's in the air near the left field line. L.J. Ho's over. And whoa! Reaching up. L.J. Ho's disappears into the seats. And he's got the baseball.
What's going on around here tonight? This is good stuff. And the fans rightly enjoying this.
Very quickly on the heels of that 8-2 win, the Astros and the Blue Jays meet again. This is the finale of this homestand. As Julia mentioned, the Astros with a shot at a 5-5 homestand. That's what they'll have if they get a win today. With Scott Feldman warming up, and they've won 2 of 3 from Toronto. The homestand began with a Miami 3-game sweep. Then the Astros took 2 of 3 from Oakland. So the competition has been top quality. And if the Astros come out of this homestand with a 5-5 record, they can be proud of that. Here's the starting lineup for John Gibbons, the San Antonio native, and the Toronto Blue Jays. Jose Reyes leads off at shortstop. It's Melky Cabrera in left field. Batting third is the DH, Jose Bautista. It's Deoner Navarro catching. Juan Francisco at first base. Colby Rasmus in center field. Munenori Kawasaki at third base. Ryan Goins at second base. Anthony Goes in right field.
On the mound for the Astros this Sunday afternoon, Scott Feldman, 31 years of age, 4-8 on the year and a 4.39 ERA. What do you have to do to get a win around here? 7 innings of 5-hit, 1-run ball his last time out. Did walk 3 in that game against the Oakland A's. Took a no decision. Scott Feldman quite good in that one. Would like to continue that trend.
And against the Blue Jays in his career, he's 1-4 with a 5.77 ERA, facing them for the first time as an Astro. Last time he beat them in Toronto last year on July 14th, giving up 3 runs in 7 1/3 innings. And it's Reyes to get it started. Reyes attacks the first pitch, loops it into right center field. That's in for a hit. Coming over, Jake Marisnick. Here's a play at second, and the throw gets in there on the bag, but not in time. It's whoa! He got him out. He overslid the bag. And the umpire at second, Chris Conroy, waited. Reyes is hurt. He's grabbing his face. And apparently because of that injury, he did not maintain contact with the base, and he's thrown out.
Don't know if he slid right into the knee of Jose Altuve. I can't really tell right now if it's face or collarbone or what. Let's see if we can pick up on it. But that's instantly jumping on the first pitch from Scott Feldman. This throw from center field, though on the money, doesn't have a load on it. But it doesn't hurt at all to come up with an out on this initial swing of the game. Still tough to tell. Face to knee.
Yeah.
Could be.
It's the collarbone that went into the right knee of Marwin Gonzalez. And he came off the base and was tagged out.
Clearly, Reyes gets in there to begin with, but then that right hand just comes right off the bag. And yeah, it looks to me like he's grabbing to collarbone more than face.
Yeah, it was collarbone.
Yep.
See the right collarbone area there. And that's an outfield assist for Jake Marisnick now on the 8-6 play. A single for Reyes. He's thrown out at second, and now can he continue in this game? That's the real question. He's reaching up for that right collarbone area. Now, John Gibbons is over to the home plate umpire, Jerry Meals, the crew chief, talking and asking him something.
I would imagine John Gibbons is questioning whether his base runner was pushed off the bag. Because clearly Reyes got into the bag safely, hand on the bag. And now at this point, do you deem that maybe there was a little push and shove going on? Hand clearly comes off the bag. Was it forced off, or was it just taken off because of pain for Reyes? And I guess the latter is going to win out.
Yeah, he just took his right hand off the base and he was tagged. I think because of the pain on the right collarbone area. So now 1 out, and Melky Cabrera takes strike 1 from Scott Feldman. 3-12 for Melky. 14 homers, 59 runs batted in, second in the American League in hits to Jose Altuve with 142. Feldman delivers, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count for Scott. As you mentioned, he did everything but complete the game to get a win last time out. The bullpen couldn't hold it for him against Oakland. Certainly threw the ball well. 1-2 allowing 1 run in 7 innings, leaving with a 4-1 lead, and that went to the 9th before Oakland rescued the game. Fouled away, and it's 1-2 to Cabrera, having an outstanding year. Well, these two guys at the top, Reyes with his speed and Cabrera hitting behind him, are real table setters for Bautista, who's in the on-deck circle now.
And then, Brownie, when you factor in Edwin Encarnacion and Adam Lind into this lineup, they can be a devastating bunch of bats.
They lead in homers in the majors. Popped up. Matt Dominguez. 2 down.
Defensively, behind Scott Feldman here this afternoon, and the outfield left to right, Mark Krause, Jake Marisnick, and Robbie Grossman. On the infield left side, Matt Dominguez and Marwin Gonzalez back in there. On the right, Jose Altuve and John Singleton. Jason Castro gets the start on this afternoon behind the plate.
Jose Bautista's the batter, DHing again today. And he takes strike 1. Bautista in this series hit a homer in the opener of the series. He has 3 hits and 11 at bats. He's driven in 3. 293 for the season. That pitch elevated, and the count goes to 1-1 for Scott Feldman. Feldman gave up a homer to Josh Reddick in the 5th inning. That was the only run he allowed in his 7 innings against the A's. Curveball missing, takes the count to 2-1. And in Scott's last 11 starts, he's 1-6 with a 5.46 earned run average. That's in the air and foul out of play. 2-2 with the infield shifted around. That's been the way the Astros have played. But now with 2 strikes in the count, Altuve has moved about 3 steps to his left, directly up the middle behind second base. And Reyes still on the bench. Evidently he's going to stay in. It looks like he will anyway. We'll find out. In tight, ball 3. Blue Jays with 515 runs scored, are 4th in the league in runs per game, 4.6. They are a powerful bunch. That's out to right center field. Marisnick over to field this one. And a single for Bautista.
He's one of those hitters, Bautista, that, like many a power hitter, they can get into that pull mode and have things work. When they start to struggle and they then go the other way, you can get them red hot, and Jose Bautista has done that many times after this type of a swing.
He's aboard for Deoner Navarro now. 275, 8 homers, 47 runs batted in for the receiver, who is 3 for 7 in this series with a homer and 2 runs batted in. Navarro takes it. It is strike 1 for Feldman. Navarro had a good season with the Cubs last year, hitting .300 and belting 13 home runs. Switch hitting catcher. Josh Tolley did the work last night. He is the catcher for knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. Bouncer by Feldman, fielded by Marwin Gonzalez. And out, number 3. No runs, 2 hits, and a man left. Toronto nothing. Houston coming up. starting lineup for Bo Porter, whose club has won 4 of its last 6. Jose Altuve, and it's brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jose Altuve at second base, Robbie Grossman right field, DH Chris Carter, catcher Jason Castro, the cleanup man, followed by left fielder Mark Krause, first baseman John Singleton, third baseman Matt Dominguez, center fielder Jake Marisnick, shortstop Marwin Gonzalez.
On the mound for the Blue Jays, he's become a bit of a sensation. 5'9", Marcus Stroman, 7-2 on the year, 3.03 the ERA in 16 games, 11 now as a starter. And the last 3 starts, 0.43 ERA, 171 that ERA in the month of July. Marcus Stroman has been phenomenal, and he is 5'9".
Well, Jose Altuve's phenomenal, and he's 5'5".
You got that right. You know, this guy was a first-round pick out of Duke, and you better be really good if you're under 6 feet tall as a starting pitcher to be selected early on in the draft. Apparently he was pretty good.
First ever first rounder from Duke. He was the number 22 overall draft choice in 2012. He got here quickly. Jose Altuve is the batter. Ground ball up the middle. Reyes to his left. Reyes spins, throws to first, and despite his injury in the top of the first, makes a fine play here.
Not too long ago, the king of shortstops, Jose Reyes, and he's still playing to that level with this play. He knew he had to hurry this to be able to get the out on Altuve, and he did it beautifully.
Robbie Grossman follows. Grossman at 197 has 4 homers. He's driven in 20. Made that tremendous catch last night in right field, robbing what would have been a game-tying 2-run homer off the bat of Juan Francisco, taking strike 1. Robbie had an impact with his glove, and lately he's been getting on base as well. For the last few weeks, in fact. Grossman last night 0 for 4. 1 ball, 1 strike to Robbie. He's 2 for 9 in this series. His most recent stint with the Astros, now it's been a 20-game portion of play since he was recalled from AAA, Oklahoma City, July 8th. He's had a .392 on base average. Fouls it back, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, and now he has 32 walks, and that's 3rd on the club. He has a walk percentage of 15.1, and that's 7th in the majors for those with 200 plate appearances in walk rate.
Wonder how that stacks up when you start looking at how many times a guy strikes out looking, as we see right here for Robbie, because he will take to that extent so many times. I just don't know how that plays out. Defensively for the Toronto Blue Jays in the outfield, we'll start at left to right. Melky Cabrera, Colby Rasmussen center, and Anthony Gose in right. On the infield left side, Munenori Kawasaki at third. Jose Reyes at short. On the right side, Ryan Goins and Juan Francisco. Deoner Navarro is the catcher.
The Astros getting their first look at Marcus Stroman. It's Chris Carter batting. Carter fouls it for strike 1. He has 22 homers to lead the club. 51 runs batted in for Carter, and a .218 batting average. Last 12 games he's hit .333 with 3 bombs, driving in 11. Chris has hit .276 on this homestand. He hit another long homer last night. No balls, 2 strikes. Since the beginning of July with 9 homers, he is the major league leader. That's in the air and out in right center field. The outfielders converge. Colby Rasmus takes care of out number 3. Marcus Stroman retires 3 in a row. No score after 1.
today for the Astros as they placed Jesus Guzman on the 15-day DL with back spasms, and with the Phillies coming up in interleague ballpark they are going to, they needed to make a move to get a healthy bench. So they bring up Domingo Santana, who happened to be in our Honda minor league report right here after a nice night last night, going 1 for 3, a 2-run shot there, 3 ribbies. Starting to feel it a little bit at the plate recently and got the call. So he was pulled in the 7th inning of this game last night to tell him that he would be joining the Astros. And guys, a lot of work he has put in over the past couple of weeks with the hitting coaches down there, working on shortening up that swing, trying to have a better go-round this time with the Astros.
They had a home game last night, but he said he did not get any sleep. Walked into the clubhouse mid-morning today, and now he is on the bench watching his teammate Scott Feldman work in the 2nd inning. Juan Francisco with a shift on. Takes the curve. It is strike 1 to Francisco. 241, 16 homers, 42 runs batted in. It's important, too, that Santana had received that feedback on the kind of work he needed to do when he was here earlier. Leon Roberts is the hitting coach at Oklahoma City, and he does an excellent job. No balls, 2 strikes.
Who was that guy photobombing Julia down there?
The rumor was it was Dexter Fowler.
Oh. It's been a while.
One and 2. Yeah, there was a story about him in the Chronicle today. He's just really getting tired of this stay on the disabled list. More than a month now. There he was.
He thinks he's slick.
Yeah. Does he want to be one of our correspondents down there?
Maybe
with you,
so.
Julia?
He's smart, though. He's figured out where the camera is and when the red light comes on.
Well, all you have to do is hang around Julia for that, so let's not get carried away.
Yeah. Francisco broken bat looper, and that will be a hit. Despite the shift, he found a landing zone for it, and that's hit number 3 now. Feldman broke his bat, but Francisco had the ultimate success of reaching base.
That general landing zone has been used about 3 times already.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and break your bat. Doesn't matter. But Francisco came so close to breaking some hearts late in the game last night, but for Robbie Grossman.
Robbie really got a game-saving catch at that point anyway. Turned out to be an 8-2 game. Colby Rasmus, 218 with 14 homers, has driven in 33. If you were to plot where the 3 hits have landed in right center field, there wouldn't be much space between them.
Well, you can land on the front of the runway or maybe a little deeper in there.
There's another one to that same spot in right center field. Another broken bat, and Rasmus is aboard. This is getting to be rather monotonous for Scott Feldman.
Well, if I'm reading the tea leaves, I'll go ahead and defensively deploy someone in that range. Huh. A couple of heroes of bats have died already.
Got to be a little unsettling for a pitcher, doesn't it?
I feel like man, I'm busting these guys off. I'm on the hands, and nothing but base hits ensue.
Well, maybe he needs a rocket for a double play.
There you go.
Munenori Kawasaki chokes up on the bat at 280. He's driven in 8. A big advocate of eating bananas.
As I understand it, you don't cramp when you eat bananas. I had to have Julia explain that to me.
Well,
but
she did.
Yeah.
And she even brought some up to us yesterday.
That was nice.
Well, the roof was open last night, and what a ball game. Fans were really treated to fine play in that game, and we had a little breeze coming through here. It was an unusually cooler than normal August night here. There's a strike to Kawasaki.
Yeah, I have to agree. That was one of those really memorable games. If you were here as a fan, you take that home and want to come back very soon.
A lot of energy in the ballpark. Great catches. Base running. Good pitches thrown. Ground ball, it rolls slowly. Altuve will have to take the out at first and not try for a double play. Francisco to third, Rasmus to second on out number 1.
I have to admit, I'm curious as to why Altuve chose not to go to second base to get a force out and leave runners at first and third rather than 2 runners in scoring position. That was a kind of a surprising decision. Watch the timing. Is there a shot to get an out at second? Sure looks like so to me. That's an easy out at second base, and yeah, Jose's generally very aggressive in that regard.
Ryan Goins comes up. Infield laying back with 1 out, conceding the run early in the game. But if it's hit to Dominguez, he can make a play at the plate. Curveball's foul. There's strike 1. Goins at 202 has 1 homer, 9 runs batted in. Well, he made an outstanding throw from shallow center field last night on that play with Singleton at the plate. 227 with men in scoring position, but 5 for his last 13. As Goins has picked up the pace. Ryan's 25 years old. Got his first major league time in last year. The pitch is up, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
I hope what we don't see here, Brownie, is a ground ball that could set up for a double play if there was that chance. And,
right.
That'll leave you hurting a bit.
I think Altuve must have just judged that by the speed of that ground ball, with Rasmus the base runner, he wouldn't have had time to go to second. That's a liner, and off the glove or over the glove of Marwin. That'll make it 1-0. Might have gotten a little leather on it, but it's an RBI single by Goins, and his 10th run batted in gives Toronto its first run. Marwin jumped high.
Well, the Blue Jays finally got away from the right center field version of their hits here early in the ball game, going to left center field. Well, that came very close to being the leaping grab and maybe a double play.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say if the catch was made, get Altuve to slide in there to the bag, he should have one.
That would have been poetic justice for Scott Feldman. Anthony Gose is the batter. Runners at first and third now, and 1 out. Gose showing butt, takes inside. Gose very speedy, and he can bunt his way on and avoid a double play and still get a run in, but Feldman came inside on him, and that pitch did not prove to be one he could find buntable. Just off the corner, and it's 2 balls, no strikes.
Is that one of those Alex Trebek words, buntables for 40?
It might be. Broken bat again. Charging Marwin gets it to Jose Altuve, and they do hurry and get a double play. They had to be quick, and it went 6-4-3. 1 run scoring on 3 hits and a man left. Toronto 1, Houston 0 in the second. broken bats, they found success. So they already have 5 hits in this game. They've all been singles. Scott Feldman probably feeling that the worm may turn for him because he's made some good pitches in this game, Ash.
Breaking bats and giving up hits. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you give up the rockets for outs. And how about the slowly hit ball for the double play? That was well turned on a speedy runner going down the line.
Altuve with the wind up there on the bench. He made the accurate throw after Marwin charged the ball and got it to him. Now Jason Castro leads it off in the home second inning. He's on a 5-game hitting streak, 234, 11 homers. He's driven in 43. And fouls it for strike one. Last night he hit one of those home runs. It was his 3rd hit of the night in the 8th inning, and the home run went to left field.
He's coming on and swinging the bat steadily better.
He's gone 10 for 31 on this homestand with 3 home runs for Jason on this long homestand. Takes a look at it, and it's 1-1.
Home run from Jason Castro. And we said at the time, he's so good on pitches away, especially that fastball. A guy that could take advantage so many times of the Crawford boxes here. He just has a perfectly set up swing for that pitch out over the plate.
1-2, Marcus Stroman, very dynamic young right-hander, as you pointed out, Ash, a mid-90s guy. And he has been terrific in the first inning. In his last 9 starts now, opponents 1 for 27 against him in the first inning of his games. So he's followed suit on that today.
Well, he is already viewed by the baseball people with the Toronto Blue Jays as being best pitcher on the staff. So he stepped right in and just taken over.
Rolled to second base. Goins in. 1 out. We understand Marcus Stroman went shopping for some Western wear while he was in town. Probably his first time ever in Houston. He was born in Medford, New York, and then went to Duke, as you indicated. Bought some cowboy boots, and he tucked his pants into those cowboy boots.
He's going to be kicking something around here soon.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Mark Krause is the batter at 183. Mark with 5 homers has 18 runs batted in. 1 for 7 with an RBI in this series. He's hit in 6 of 8 starts since he came up from Oklahoma City July 23rd. There's strike one. The Astros are about to regain the services, it would appear, of George Springer, and that may happen as early as Tuesday night in Philadelphia. 1-1. Dexter Fowler and Alex Presley working their way back. Krause among those getting opportunities because of the injuries. It's 2 balls 1 strike for Mark, and certainly with his power, and we've seen it recently, he can make an impact. Hit a second deck home run in right field.
I don't know about you, Brownie. I'm ready to see George come out and play.
Yeah. George was asked, of course, about that on a daily basis. Bo Porter's been asked about his injury to the quad, the left quad. It's getting better. He's doing all the things to prove that he's healthy. This one goes to left field near the line. Melky Cabrera over. And the one thing that Bo Porter said he had not done was run the bases. That was earlier today.
Time now for the AT&T Rewind. Check in with one John Singleton yesterday as he launches one to right center. That ball might be gone. You think it's gone? I think it might be gone. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to have to run. And it kicks in right there. And it further kicks in when Pat Listash is waving his arm round and round. And initially called out at the plate, John Singleton goes to the dugout, awaits a call that would be forthcoming and award him an inside the park home run.
Singleton takes, and there's ball 1.
Wow. Boy, Stroman has delivered 3 pitches in this inning that are awfully good, down around the knees, and Jerry Meals is not a fan of that knee-high pitch.
That's in the air to right field. Coming over Ghosts on the warning track. That's 6 straight set down by Stroman. 1-0 Blue Jays.
the Blue Jays are ahead 1-0 over the Astros. Time to talk to you about In-Game Live right now on CSNHouston.com. It helps you with the game watching experience. You go to the website, gives you all sorts of in-depth stats. Like you look at Marcus Stroman, he's thrown 20 pitches so far, which is almost a third of his average pitches thrown per start. You get all sorts of stats like that, and that helps you helps the experience as you watch the game. And we want to go ahead and talk about the Twitter question now. So many great plays from last night. You had 3 home runs, including the inside the park home run, and then you had Jose Altuve watching the Blue Jays channel. They're inner little leaguer right there. You have the major league debut by Fultonevich, and then great defensive plays. Grossman robbing the home run, and then LJ Hose doing his Derek Jeter into the stands down the left field line. We want to find out what your favorite play from last night was. And that's the question. We'll go ahead and read the best answers later in the game.
Foul ball there off the bat of Jose Reyes. It is 1-0, and he got the first hit of the 5 for the Blue Jays in the first 2 innings off Feldman. And Reyes was thrown out after he came off the bag at second. Goes for the high pitch, fouls it back. No balls, 2 strikes. Reyes, the aggressive sort of leadoff man who doesn't draw a lot of walks. So he'll swing at some of those pitches where he just did.
I was just thinking, Brownie, about what was my favorite play in last night's ball game. And I guess the safest way to answer is the most impactful play for me seemed to be the robbing of the home run by Robbie Grossman. I like the triple. I like the inside the park home run kind of stuff. Those were a lot of fun. But Robbie's play was hugely impactful.
It was, because it was what they might term a game changer. It would have been a tie game had the home run gone in, and then the Astros, of course, would have lost the lead there. It was the 8th inning.
Might it have changed the momentum? They came back with more offense, but you never know how things change. But you know that Mike Fultonevich fastball was rather intriguing to watch as well.
There was a lot of talk about that after the game.
That bad boy was alive.
He talked about it in the stories when he was interviewed afterwards, and again this morning, and his knees were shaking, and he said that his second pitch in the bullpen warming up never even made the dirt in front of the catcher. It bounced on the grass.
Well, I think his first on the field to Jason Castro was pretty comparable.
Line drive to right field, in for a hit. Reyes is 2 for 2 in this game. Well, the Blue Jays just keep pecking away. That's 6 singles.
Yeah, Fultonevich may claim that he was very nervous, but I wonder what on-deck hitters were feeling. This is the first warm-up toss as he came out to the mound. Yeah, that was just a bit outside. And Jason Castro right now is thinking, oh dear, what have we got here?
But how did he do? Well, he got a foul pop on Melky Cabrera, struck out Jose Bautista, walked Colby Rasmus, and then came out of the game.
He was blowing on Bautista.
It was. It's 99-99. Cabrera takes a strike. So can he reach 100? Sure. Stay tuned.
Yeah, that's right. He said that's all he had left after this lengthy season he's had.
Little chop goes over to Feldman, took a look at second, but over to Singleton at first. 1 out. Reyes into second base on the ground out by Cabrera.
Those comments leave you feeling shortchanged on last night's game.
Now Marwin is talking with Reyes about that collision they had at the bag, apparently.
If you come back and try it again, I've got more for you.
Marwin just got back. He missed the last 4 games. He had an injection in his hamstring of platelet-rich plasma. Jose Bautista, the batter, he singled to right center on a broken bat. That is ball 1.
I tried that stuff in a heel.
Did you?
Oh, 4 or 5 years ago, and to no avail, and it was painful on top of that.
Reyes draws a throw, or a fake. Altuve was at the bag. Reyes was edging off the bag more toward third. Feldman turned around. And this would be the time to steal third with one out in the inning. And Bautista, the batter, he's going. Here's a throw, and the tag not in time. He stole it. Pretty close call for Jordan Baker at third base.
Looked like the hands got in there. And there didn't seem to be any disguise there at second base from Reyes. He started bouncing away, and once he timed it well, he was just going to keep on moving. And you can see, yeah, those hands get in there ahead of time. And that's a very tough pitch for Jason Castro to throw on. Nice job by Matty D to slap it down.
Reyes stole on the 1-0 pitch, so now he has put his team in a very favorable position with his 20th steal of the season in 21 tries. He has stolen early in the count, and it's now 2-0 on Bautista. And he's there at third with one out. The infield dropping back and going into the shift. And that's high for ball 3, and what you may see here is ball 4. Navarro's on deck. Now the infielders move in, and it is ball 4. Bautista draws the 4-pitch walk.
Come on out to Minute Maid Park this Friday. That's August 8th when the Astros face the Texas Rangers. Starts at 7:10 p.m. 10,000 fans will receive a Cowboy boot mug presented by Xfinity. Afterwards, the game will be followed by spectacular fireworks presented by Marathon Oil. Get tickets at 1-877-9-ASTROS or Astros.com.
Julia's lining up for that one. Now Navarro, double play depth for Gonzalez and Altuve. Navarro grounded out to shortstop in the first. Navarro's from Venezuela. Runner takes off for second, no throw. Bautista on that pitch in the dirt set sail, and he made it on the wild pitch.
One of the very nice jobs again by Jason Castro. Watch how steady the glove stays. Despite not being on the ground, still real steady, not reaching for the ball. And that enables the chest protector to do the work. Ball stays right in front that way. It's just great work by Castro.
That's off the plate, and it's 2-0 to Navarro. Yeah, you know, we used to watch Mike Matheny block those balls in the dirt. He was so good. Brad Ausmus was excellent. Who else comes to mind for you?
Number one all time for me, Mike Matheny. You mentioned it. Perfection with his fundamentals. Brad Ausmus was just as good in terms of effectiveness. It was a different style, and one that you wouldn't find many a hitting coach laying out as, here's the way I'd like you to do it, guys. But if you're open-minded enough to watch a guy and see what the results are, Brad Ausmus did ultimately what you saw from Castro. Glove did not try to catch the ball.
Now 3-0 on Navarro. 7 straight balls for Feldman, and make it 8 as the bases are loaded for Francisco. Feldman now has walked 37 in 111 innings. Brent Strom is coming out. Francisco singled to right center field in the second inning. You talked about the missing parts of the offense for the Blue Jays, very important parts. Edwin Encarnacion has had a big year for Toronto. In fact, Encarnacion, and we're not sure when he will be back from a quad injury. Some think that he might have actually torn that quad, although that has not been reported. He leads their club in homers with 26 and runs batted in with 70. And then Brett Laurie, who's now on an injury rehab assignment in the minors, has 12 homers, 38 runs batted in. You talked about Adam Lynn. He was hitting .320 for 178 at bats. He's been out for a while.
Those are the big bats, and then Colby Rasmus would be the guy that they count on to be a power supply source. When they are healthy and together, they're dynamic offensively.
Navarro with a bouncer. Altuve backhanded flip, a long one to Marlin. Plenty of time for a 4-6-3 double play. 2 of those in 2 innings behind Feldman. No runs, a hit, 2 men left for Toronto. 1-0 Blue Jays in the 3rd.
Third. Time for you to tweet your photos using hashtag CSNHFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. That is brought to you by AT&T. See, this isn't the first time I've been photobombed by Dexter. Look at him.
Well, we haven't seen him in a while, Julia.
The guys in the dugout are picking on him right now. They've put his water that he drinks during the game over here by me. I'm hiding it, so don't tell Dexter where it is.
We will not.
What's he have the keys to the batter's box?
What are those keys for? Oh, well, he's not here, but got his water.
Well, you know, a moment ago, I thought he had the windshield wiper stuff.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Springer's in on it, of course.
Well, with that water, and if he talked to Munenori Kawasaki about the bananas, he would never have a cramp, right? That combination. Matt Dominguez takes strike 1. 227 for Matty D. 13 homers, 45 runs batted in.
You know, that's what they used to do to the rookies. They'd grab a rookie and say, hey, can you go get the keys to the batter's box? And the rookie would take off running back up into the clubhouse and with the grounds crew people. And yeah, that was the big fun back in the day. So apparently Dexter's got those keys ready to go.
Nice play there at first by Francisco, and he tosses to Stroman. That's 7 straight set down by the rookie right-hander. He's coming off back-to-back wins over the Red Sox. And the Blue Jays have been impressed about how he was able to do that against the same club.
That's a nice defensive play. And one, quite frankly, that John Singleton, he's had issues defense with the glove, and so it's nice to be able to see a guy handle it that way.
Jake Marisnick looking for his first hit as an Astro. 0 for 7 in a Houston uniform. There's ball 1 to Marisnick, who was obtained in the Jared Cozart deal with Miami. 145 in 16 games with Miami and Houston this year. Had some big league time in last year as well. 1 ball, 1 strike, so it's not that he's pressing for his first major league hit. Springer and Fowler both hoping to be not there, but alongside each other out on the field soon. Foul back, and it's a 1-2 count to Marisnick.
For Jake Marisnick, that fastball, the 1-1 right there, is one you want to start barreling up.
Batting average against Stroman has been .232 for his first 11 starts. He began the year in the bullpen. He started the year at AAA, was recalled May 4th. Made 5 appearances as a reliever, was optioned down 2 weeks later, and recalled as a starter May 31st. Ground ball hit. There's the first hit as an Astro, and the first hit by an Astro in this game, Jake Marisnick.
And he was just perfect on this slider down around the knees. Maybe it starts higher and ends a bit above the knees, but look how beautifully he stays with the hands back and then pops it through the baseball. That's nice to see. There it is. The load is off.
He's a base stealer. He's 5 for 5 this season. Marwin Gonzalez just back in the lineup today after missing the last 4 games. Been nursing a hamstring strain. Got an injection for it. Then he was a little bit sore. He thought maybe from the injection. There's strike one. 273 for Marwin. 5 homers, 15 runs batted in. Marisnick is 5 for 5 in steals this year. At AAA New Orleans, he had a good season stealing bases as well. He had 24 steals there. The Blue Jays know all about Marisnick. They drafted him in the 3rd round. It's 0-2.
Yeah, he was at one time a prospect in the Blue Jays organization. Sometimes prospects bloom early. Sometimes they get forgotten about, and I think that happened a bit with Jake.
Stroman as a starter in the major leagues is 6-2 with a 2.12 ERA. Flicked foul by Marwin. Still no balls, 2 strikes. He's won his last 3 starts. 7 shutout innings against Texas in a 4-0 win. 7 shutout innings with 1 hit allowed against Boston in a 7-0 win. 7 innings, 1 run allowed at Boston in a 3-1 win. Thus the 3-0 ERA of 0.43 for those last 3 starts. And it's 1-2.
Nice command, trying to be just off the outside black. Yeah, Stroman and some others through the years that get that rare chance to be a pitcher, though not being gifted with the nice, tall, lanky body. Stroman trying to show that you can do it and do it well.
Left center field. Rasmus waiting. Rasmus handles it, 2 outs. You know, the Astros this year are 2-6 when facing rookie starting pitchers. But they are 8-4 when facing people who have won the Cy Young Award.
Well, I think it's clear cut. The rookies are much tougher.
Well, they have been. Here's Altuve now. He grounded a shortstop.
You know, after having seen Billy Wagner and his stature bringing that fastball at 100 plus, I'm not a believer that you have to be of the tall body type to be able to pitch and pitch effectively. Kind of root for these guys.
That's over shortstop into left center field. Altuve with a hit. Marisnick will stop at second. Cabrera came up with it cleanly. That's 155 hits for the major league leader.
Oh, he's so good, and he doesn't even get a first pitch fastball. People talk about hitting the first pitch usually because it's a fastball, but this is a slider that stays up a little bit, maybe just to loop it in their breaking ball. Jose Altuve can handle anything.
He's on a pace for 224 hits and 62 steals. Robbie Grossman's the batter. He struck out looking earlier. Ball 1 from Stroman. The Astros and Blue Jays have split their 6 games against each other this year. The Astros are 7-2 against Toronto here at Minute Maid Park down through the seasons. Grossman looks at it. It's a ball, and that makes it 2-0 for Robbie. Stroman got paid a $1.8 million signing bonus after his first round selection by Toronto. And took care of his mother's mortgage. Fouled away. 2 balls and a strike. Last year he was 1 out short of qualifying for the ERA title in the Eastern League. With a 3.30 ERA in New Hampshire, he worked 111 innings, but he served a 50-game suspension for amphetamines. That's a foul ball by Grossman. It's 2-2 to Robbie. While the Astros go to Philadelphia, tomorrow is a travel day, and they will, after the day off on the field, pick up play Tuesday night. 5:30 airtime for Astros pregame live. Dallas Keuchel versus Kyle Kendrick in the opener of just a 3-game road trip. Both teams are TBA for Tuesday night. Bounced and wide of first base. It could very well be Brad Peacock filling that TBA slot for the Astros Wednesday night in Philadelphia. That has not been announced yet. Brad's currently at AAA. Thursday night, Colin McHugh goes against Roberto Hernandez.
By the way, that base hit for Jose Altuve, 1 for 2 on the day, 4th hit of the series, gets him back to 340. And that ties him with Troy Tulowitzki, who is on the DL as the leaders in the major leagues in terms of batting average.
3 balls, 2 strikes, and now Altuve at first. Marisnik at second. Will be setting sail on this next one. 3:40 on August 3rd.
It's good stuff.
Good place to be. Chris Carter's on deck. Stroman has not walked anybody. Has only 17 walks in 74 innings. Ground ball, foul at first base again. That one was close to the line, though. You know, the AL West is showing to be a stronger division than the AL East this year. Down through the seasons, the AL East has been thought to be by many the top division in Major League Baseball, but not so much this year. The Yankees are down. Red Sox are down. The Rays are down. Right now it's Baltimore in first and Toronto in second, 2.5 games back. And Baltimore, occupying that top spot, has a 61-48 record, a .560 winning percentage. While in the AL West, Oakland has the best record in the majors, a .615 winning percentage. The Angels are second at .596, and that is the second best winning percentage in the majors. The A's made the big trade, of course, for John Lester. Angels picking up Houston Street. And you have the Mariners, who are also in the hunt for a playoff spot. Rangers have dropped 2.5 behind the Astros. The Rangers 24 games under 500 for the first time since 1985. Runners go, and it's fouled straight back. And the Astros will meet the Rangers here next weekend, starting Friday night. Is that when we have the coffee mugs? The Silver Boot coffee mugs?
I think that may be the case.
This will be the 9th pitch coming to Grossman. They're not silver, though.
It's going to be root beer float for me, I think, Brent.
That's ball 4. Grossman really worked for that one. The first walk of the game for Stroman. Stroman threw a low pitch. Grossman takes it to load the bases for Chris Carter now.
Well, why not? Chris Carter's the guy that's been getting a lot of big swings for the club lately. Just yesterday, for instance, that little swing produced a bomb of a home run. Leads the club. George Springer's got some work to do to catch back up now to Chris. He's been getting a lot of congrats in the dugout.
How things have turned for Chris Carter since the 1st of July.
308 in 24 games, 9 bombs. You mentioned leading the major leagues in that span. 21 ribs, slugging it up. Chris Carter is starting to become the guy that you wanted to see.
With the bases loaded this year, Chris Carter is 4 for 5. There's strike one to Chris with men in scoring position. He's now hitting .270. Career 7 for 17, 412 with the bases loaded. Jason Castro on deck. Stroman has surrendered only 5 homers this year in his first 74 innings. He's ahead 0-2 now.
Yeah, that's the pitch you can talk all you want about. I'm going to lay off until you walk to the plate and you see it and it looks like a fastball at the knees. Very tough.
Now on 0-2, Carter trying to make some contact. Stroman has struck out 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Chris.
Gianna Navarro with some nice work there.
Field shifted around, playing him to pull. Upstairs, now 2-2. Sometimes it can come down to one pitch in a sequence, and with Grossman falling behind in the count, then going to 3-2. Stroman did not make his pitch and walked Robbie. Now he's back to 2-2 on Carter after going 0-2. And ball 3. So now Stroman really will need to come up with something unless he can get Carter to go fishing. Carter with a line shot to left field. Scores Marisnik and Altuve, and the Astros have a 2-1 lead. 2-run single by Carter. That gives him 53 runs batted in.
Well, I wondered if Stroman had the ability and the courage to come with the slider on the 3-2. He did. It was a tough pitch. Chris Carter hits it off the end of the bat, but that is such good hitting. See this slider breaking away left up a bit. He's trying to simply throw a strike. But Chris Carter once again comes through.
Jason Castro grounded out first time. There's ball 1 to Castro. What a turnabout. Scott Feldman has given up 6 hits but only 1 run. He's had 2 double play balls. The Astros did not have a base runner through the first 2 1/3 innings, and now they have the lead. It's 2-0, and Stroman's control has been wavering here in this inning. Since May 11th, the Astros are 35-39. Castro takes it. It's a strike. Since June 7th, the Blue Jays are 22-28. Mark Krause is on deck. Foul ball. 2-2. The Astros had that stretch back in May when they were just putting it all together. Now, recently, fans might be getting a feel that this is similar to that, and a lot of that has to do with getting solid starting pitching.
Starting to bring the smiles to the faces.
Yeah. Todd Redmond is warming up now for Toronto. Ground ball to second. Carter jumps over it. Goins over to first. And the Astros settle for 2 in the 3rd. On 3 hits, they leave 2. They lead it 2-1.
Astros on top of the Blue Jays. Cougar alumni and fans join us September 2nd for University of Houston night. We'll create an experience your group is sure to remember. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or email groupsales@astros.com.
Look forward to that. Cougars are getting their new stadium all ready to go. We go to the fourth inning here at Minute Maid Park. It's 2-1. The Astros lead it. They've been out hit 6-3 by Toronto.
Going to be Draybeck Field?
It should be Draybeck Field, if he would pony up the money for it. Colby Rasmus single to right center field in the second on a broken bat hit. There's ball one. Have you been following this Arizona-Pittsburgh series, Ash, with the exchange of hit batsmen?
It does seem to be a little bitterness brewing in the series, yes.
Goldschmidt was hit by a pitch. His hand was broken. And then McCutchen, apparently in retaliation, was drilled in the back last night. So what will today bring? A lot of people are really watching that one very closely today. See where this retaliation goes. Upstairs for Feldman, and it's 2-1.
That implies that tempers can flare occasionally in this game.
Well, later on today, the Pirates are at Arizona against the Diamondbacks. Late swing by Rasmus. It's 2-2. It's been a really good road trip for the Blue Jays. They're 6-3. This is their finale. They go back home and they play some top contenders coming up in the next stretch of games. Last time they won 7 on a 10-game road trip was May of 2010. Knocked down by Feldman. That slows it down and right to Marwin Gonzalez. So his luck is turning here. Instead of deflecting it where it became an infield hit, it goes right to the shortstop, and he gave up some broken bat hits earlier. Well, maybe the worst is over for Scott Feldman.
Yeah, I think the indication was the bat didn't blow up, so therefore no hit for the Jays.
It's a crazy game that way.
It is. It is. Yeah, and you don't want to get too fixated on that, because as soon as you complain, the rockets will start coming out.
Kawasaki looks at strike one. He grounded out earlier. Rangers 3, Indians 1. They're at the end of 7 in Cleveland already. 1-1.
Yeah, what do the Diamondbacks have left now if they don't have Paul Goldschmidt?
Boy,
well, they do have Aaron Hill and Mark Trumbo. And then that's one of those comments, because obviously Goldschmidt is the big man on that campus.
You bet. 2 balls and a strike, and they traded Gerardo Parra. They don't even have him. Tigers 4, Rockies nothing in Detroit, top of the 7th inning. Victor Martinez hit his 23rd. Anibal Sanchez is doing the mound work for Detroit.
They do have Tuffy Gosowicz, though.
Okay. It's 3-1. Giants 8, Mets nothing. Top of the 8th. That was quite a pitching duel last night. Dueling no hitters. Into the 7th inning. Jake Peavy for the Giants. Jacob deGrom for them. That deGrom is a good looking young pitcher. 3-2 now to Kawasaki. Hunter Pence hit his 14th today. Buster Posey number 13. Brandon Belt is back. He belted number 11. Fouled into the seats by Kawasaki.
How did people in Miami feel about the debut for Jared Cozart with their club?
Have not read anything on that. We'll try to check around and get something on it for you. See if the overnight reviews are in. Bouncer behind first, almost hit the bag. Singleton takes it, and it's out number 2. We certainly wish Jared a very good career. Of course, he wasn't here very long, but boy, a 9-game winner this year, and it seemed as if he had learned a lot of lessons along the way.
His stuff, for me, is the kind of stuff that could lead to a heck of a career. like you say, we'll root on his behalf.
Ryan Goins singled in the Blue Jays run to left center field in the second inning. How about that Tiger rotation?
They are, on paper, they are as filthy as I've ever seen.
Boy, David Price joining those other guys. They were already really good. Ball 1 to Goins.
Verlander, Scherzer, last year's ERA king, Sanchez, Anibal Sanchez.
Porcello is having a good year. It's 2-0. Well, what about this? Now, Boston, of course, has traded John Lester and John Lackey. But Boston has cleared the decks of a lot of payroll for next year. So Boston might be bidding for Scherzer.
So the Red Sox become the Yankees this offseason for those types of deals, huh?
Maybe, but then there are the Yankees also.
Yep, they haven't left the stage yet, have they?
And, you know, it's not fashionable to say, boy, the Yankees are getting a lot out of their personnel this year, but they really are with Joe Girardi.
Yeah. I would agree in recent years for Joe. I think he's done a whale of a job with that club.
Yeah, and their personnel just isn't what it used to be. With all the injuries they've had. Now let's see, where do we stand with A-Rod? He is going to be back next year, or what do you hear on that?
His suspension went just through this year, so I would say that he can come back next year. I guess that's yet to be determined, huh?
I believe he can come back. And I've read that he plans on being there in spring training.
How much remains on his contract as a guarantee?
Not sure. Bouncer to Singleton. Signed a 10-year deal, so probably a while. That's a 1-2-3-4 for Scott Feldman. It's 2-1 Houston.
Park. Come out to Minute Maid Park this Saturday, August 9th, when the Astros face off against the Texas Rangers at 6:10. Be sure to arrive early, as 10,000 fans will receive an Astros cowboy hat presented by Xfinity. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com. Brownie, you mentioned this earlier, but today's starter, Marcus Stroman for the Blue Jays, he was wearing cowboy boots. Friday, he went out and I've done some digging on this.
Oh,
He told the guys in the clubhouse he was going to need to buy some boots, so he did. He also bought the 10-gallon hat, black. I like that look as well. John Gibbons, of course, from Texas, said you can't tuck your boots. I mean, you can't tuck your pants into your boots. You just can't do it. He's got a point, though.
Well, why not be different? He enjoyed it.
That was great.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
He wore it to the ballpark like that. That's how he showed up.
Julia Morales, our investigative reporter here.
He now will not have to participate in rookie dress-up day at the end of the year.
Mark Krause with a liner to left field. And a nice swing there puts Krause on at first base with hit number 4 for the Astros.
That was pretty stuff. Down and away. Drop barrel. Base hit. Go get on the base. That's nice. That left shoulder just swinging right through it.
Well, the Astros get their leadoff man on. Mark Krause aboard for John Singleton. Singleton hit a fly ball to right. Leave it to Julia to come up with the big breaking news of Marcus Stroman wearing cowboy boots and a hat.
She landed the photos too. That's solid work.
Can you imagine a young ball player, possibly first trip ever to Houston, shopping for Western wear? That's never happened.
Well, when your skip is John Gibbons, I have a feeling there was some pressure applied.
Apparently there was a teammate that had just bought boots recently, and he had his eye on him.
Okay.
So this was his opportunity once he was in Texas.
And the only trip in this year. That's called a swing by Singleton, and it's 0-2.
He also tweeted that he wanted a guitar to fill the outfit.
Well, Ash can help him out there.
I thought so, yeah.
Well, I've got just the places to take him. The thing is, he'll wind up loaded up with some electric guitar stuff and amps, and he will not believe the noise he can make.
Singleton takes it. It's 1-2.
That'll make him all the more popular with his teammates.
So, Julia, you favored the black hat.
That was a nice look.
Yeah.
It's different. I like that he went full out, though.
Yeah, but the boots were a little on the colorful side.
Just don't tuck them in. Don't do it.
That's out to right center field. Well hit ball by Singleton. Picking it up. Here's Rasmus. Singleton into second. Here's the throw. He beats it, and it's knocked down, but no further advance by Mark Krause. A double for Singleton, sending Krause to third.
You know, there are a lot of big men in this game. Upon hitting this ball, would take a big turn at first and head back to the bag. John Singleton has been running for his life here recently. And he takes a little bit of a shot. Pretty hitting. And he's starting to rake a lot of pitches that he was swinging through there for a good long while. But he gets into the bag, handle it. Look at that swing. You think that's not going to produce some bombs through the years?
Oh, it will.
Big man can dig it.
That's his 9th double. Todd Redmond is warming up. He was warming up last inning. And now it's Matt Dominguez with runners at second and third, nobody out. Dominguez grounded out earlier. Now, of course, that hit by Singleton was different than last night's inside the park homer, which went a long way. And Singleton kind of went into that home run trot coming up the line. But he knew that one wouldn't be out, and he busted it. There's Redmond. But it would be interesting to know how much faster he made it from home to first than he did last night. 1 ball, 1 strike.
See, I think he's got it gauged. He knew last night in the end he was going to beat the rap at the plate, and so he gives you what he needs up the line.
Okay.
You don't seem to be bought in.
Not yet. Need more bananas.
Keep chewing on it.
Matty D takes the ball.
Cramp. Cramp is the operative word, right?
You know, somehow when Kawasaki said it, it didn't seem like cramp. It sounded like something else.
Yeah, it did. It did. Kind of led me down a different path.
Foul ball, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the Astros have a golden opportunity here. Okay, home to first. Last night, Singleton. Today, Singleton.
We have the technology. We can build it. Oh, yeah. Today, definitely quicker.
Oh,
look at this. But what do you do on the backside of the 800?
Wow.
Well, you slide and you get your foot in there in time.
Dominguez out into right center field. That's in for a hit. That'll score Krause. Stop sign at third, and it's 3-1. RBI for Dominguez, his 46th. Singleton stopped at third by Pat Listash, and the Astros have 3 consecutive hits.
Look, we praised the great swing of Mark Krause to start the inning, lining one the other way. Ditto right here from Matt Dominguez. Another breaking ball, right shoulder down right into that zone as he drives it into right center field. Really pretty work here in the inning.
Yeah, they both did a wonderful job of making solid contact without trying to pull the ball. Pete Walker, the pitching coach, has come out. Runners at first and third. Nobody out. Jake Marisnick will be the batter. John Gibbons, starter, is being hit around here for the second straight inning.
Now that base hit by Dominguez is one that you would generally anticipate a guy from second being able to score on. I don't know if there was a question on Singleton's mind as to whether the ball could be caught or not. But, you know, you take that Kike Hernandez style where it seemed like he read everything perfectly off the bat.
He really did. Marisnick looks at ball one. Now both clubs with 6 hits. Reds lead the Marlins 7-1 at Miami. They're in the 7th. With Mike Leake pitching. Another hit through the left side, and Marisnick is 2 for 2. He picks up his first RBI now as an Astro, and it's 4-1. 4 straight hits.
Well, the Toronto Blue Jays came to town hot. They look for the moment like they are concerned about leaving with the "not" in capital letters. And Jake Marisnick, a great job on a pitch at the knees.
That's it for Stroman, who retired the first 7 in very impressive fashion. 4 earned runs today. He had given up 1 earned run in his previous 3 starts combined. Ended the game with a 2.12 ERA as a starter for 11 starts. This one turned south on him quickly. It's 4-1 Houston. Todd Redmond coming in right after this.
Four to 1. Great guests, hot topics, and no holds barred debate. Kevin Eschenfelder serves it up fresh every single weeknight on Sports Talk Live at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet. Tomorrow's guests are Damon Jones, Mike Meltzer, Adam Wexler, and Ken Hamlin.
Sunday afternoon crowd watching the Astros continue their hitting. They banged out 13 hits last night in winning at 8-2. And now they've knocked out the starter Marcus Stroman after 3 innings plus. Todd Redmond takes over. He's 1-4 with a 2.14 ERA. He has runners at first and second. Marwin Gonzalez in the box. Marwin hit a fly ball to center in the 3rd. He bunts this one and it goes foul. Redmond worked in the game on July 31st here, going 2 2/3 innings, giving up 1 unearned run. He came in after Drew Hutchison went 3 innings, so he's the long man again today. And Toronto turned that game around and won it 6-5 Thursday night. Bunted well. Kawasaki with the throw. And the sacrifice gets Dominguez over to third and Marisnik to second, 1 out.
Marwin turning into the role player right here, trying to provide 2 more runs in this 4th inning. Nicely done. Got a very good offensive inning for the club.
Four hits in a row now, a sac bunt, and it's Altuve batting. Infield moves in halfway, and Altuve, now they'll put him on intentionally to load the bases for Robbie Grossman. And we're seeing this a few times lately now. Altuve is getting the show of respect. It's the 4th intentional walk. That'll set up the force at any base with Grossman batting and 1 out. Gibbons and Bo Porter squaring off in this one. Well, their teams have been dead even in head-to-head play. 3-3 in the 6 games. The Astros have outscored Toronto so far 31-26 in runs. They have both hit 8 home runs against each other. And that's a fair point to make about this year's Astros team, which is 46-65 after winning 51 games all of last year. About the improvement, especially against good teams, playing head-to-head much better than they did a year ago against these good teams. Grossman struck out looking and he walked. Carter's on deck. Up and in for ball 1.
Last year the Astros got abused, Brownie, by the Oakland A's and the Texas Rangers. And there's been a considerable improvement with those 2 clubs as Robbie able to get out of the way. 5-8 against Oakland so far this year.
6-3 against Texas. Foul back. They are 3-4 against Baltimore, the first place team in the AL East. 3-3 against Toronto. They finished 3-4 against Detroit, the first place team in the AL Central. The shot foul. 1-2 now.
Angels still seem to have their number for the time being, and the Angels have played very good baseball. 4-10 against LA. Washington Nationals came in and had the Astros visit into the nation's capital and went 4-0 against Houston, but it's hard to read those smaller series over the course of a year.
Grossman looks at it. It's 2-2 to Robbie.
That's again in that category for Robbie, taking very close pitches with 2 strikes. Dangerous.
Bases loaded with Astros. Chris Carter came through with a 2-run single with the bases juiced back in the 3rd inning. Grossman fouls it back. If the Astros win this game, their record goes to 26-33 at home this season. They had 3 consecutive winning homestands, and then they've dropped the last 2 homestands. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Grossman, hanging in there with 2 strikes in the count, now has turned things in his favor again. That's what he did in the 3rd inning, and he wound up with a walk. this game is one that really has gone against the grain of many others. The Astros have only struck out once. They've already collected 7 hits. Grossman takes a walk, and that forces in run number 5. And they've drawn 3 walks in this game. Grossman gets his 21st run batted in, scoring Matt Dominguez.
One of the really nice innings over the course of the year for the team offensively. Close pitch, but off the outside edge.
Grossman gets the run batted in. He's on for the 2nd time today. Chris Carter is the batter. Carter collected 2 runs batted in with a single with the bases loaded in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. That's ball 1.
Of course, Carter already with a couple of grand slams on his year.
That's true.
Go ahead and add to it.
Well, it's a long season. Sometimes guys just don't get it cranked up until the 2nd half for whatever reason.
Well, you can somewhat add Jason Castro to that list, and I get the sense that he's heating up and going to finish strong this year.
Carter gets underneath it. Catcher Navarro over, and he makes a very good play right in front of that television camera. 2 outs.
Towering shot. That happens because you get a good swing and put the barrel on the ball. But it doesn't work out this time for Chris.
That was our television camera.
Don't be pushing around those CSN cameras now.
No. Kawasaki was dashing in from 3rd base, but Navarro took over. Kawasaki was just kind of running like crazy on that one. Castro twice has grounded out to 2nd. He ran for the ball, and then he ran to cover home. Bouncer, and there's Goins to his left. On to Francisco. And the Astros have a 3-run 4th, following up on their 2-run 3rd. They lead it 5-1.
Park. Create memories, have fun, and enjoy a premium experience with an Astros luxury suite at Minute Maid Park. We will create an experience your group is sure to remember. Call the Astros premium ticket line at 1-877-9-ASTROS to reserve your luxury suite today. Guys, Willie is working hard out there on the mound. I know you see him. And we saw this a couple of days ago. He was working on the mound when Colin McHugh was pitching against Jay Happ. And what he told me about yesterday, or 2 days ago, excuse me, was that the mound was too soft And McHugh said he probably could have pitched through it, but it would have been better just to fix it up a little bit. And it took him a couple tries, but that might be what he's doing today. He said that when the roof was open, it wasn't open long enough, he doesn't think, for it to dry out the dirt a couple of days ago. And, you know, the rain the past few days, I'm not sure if that's been the problem.
Willie Berry working hard to get things smoothed out there for Scott Feldman right now. When Feldman came out to start this inning, Bo Porter also approached the home plate umpire, Jerry Meals, and pointed over to the grounds crew, indicating that they would need to do some work on this mound. It was pretty extensive with Colin McHugh a couple of nights ago, as Julia mentioned. It took a while to get things right.
Yeah, that was the matchup of righty and lefty, and sometimes you'll get the kind of the opposing digouts by the guys that can create problems. Also the landing area, but it would appear that maybe Willie Berry and company might have some work on their hands coming up over the next 4 days.
Well, the Astros will be in Philly, so they'll have time to get that mound all set for the Texas Rangers series starting Friday night. Just saw a note on the internet that Paul Goldschmidt of Arizona is expected to miss the rest of the season now with a fractured left hand, according to Kirk Gibson, the manager, today. So it'll be 8 weeks for the runner-up in the National League MVP voting last year. Boy, that is a blow.
Yeah, that club was already struggling, and he was the big bright beacon for the club. Tough when you lose a guy of that caliber.
Andrew McCutchen was interviewed after he was drilled in the back last night, and he said they had all game to retaliate. They had the first inning to retaliate. They had the first pitch of the 9th inning to retaliate. They missed. You throw a slider on the second pitch and then you throw up and in on the next pitch. Are you trying to hurt me too? That's the question. So the Pirates were livid about that retaliation. They perceived retaliation anyway. And it is on today, I think. Between I would imagine there's a warning before that game starts for them late this afternoon. The way that series has turned.
Yeah, I would imagine anything in off the inside corner at all might get somebody ejected.
Scott Feldman is ready to go with a 5-1 lead now. This game is turned around. After he had given up 5 hits, he had 1 out in the second inning. Then he got a double play ball from Gose. Got another one after a hit and 2 walks in the third. With Francisco bouncing into a twin killing. Anthony Gose bats for the second time now. Strike for Feldman, shooting for win number 5 of the year. The opening day starter after signing a 3-year deal as a free agent to join the Astros. That's ripped on a line into right field. A single for Gose. Seven hits for the Blue Jays. They have all been singles.
There's a guy in Anthony Gose that some baseball people thought by now would be a huge star in the major leagues. Great tools.
He's aboard for Jose Reyes. Reyes is 2 for 2. He hits one to right field. Bobby Grossman in. A 1-pitch out there for Feldman. Melky Cabrera will follow. Well, Cabrera running second to Altuve in hits. His batting average was .312 when this game started compared to Altuve's .339. Robinson Cano has been running second to Altuve in batting average, and when the day began, Altuve had a 9-point batting average lead on Cano. Cabrera's popped to third and grounded back to the pitcher. Gose starts and stops. There's strike 1. Wouldn't that be great, though, if Altuve became the first Astro to win a batting title this year?
I think if that were tacked onto the resume of Jose Altuve, it could lead to more to come. I just think that his confidence has begun to swell.
Very good story about him in today's Houston Chronicle. 1 ball, 1 strike, about how he really worked hard in Venezuela to learn baseball and finally got that signing with the Astros at their academy, and then they moved him along pretty quickly. Al Pedrique was the guy who saw him and recommended that he signed. He went for a tryout one day and he was told you didn't make it, and then he and his dad talked and they decided, since Al Pedrique had not been there and would be there the next day, they would go back. And Al Pedrique said, yes, we'll sign him. And Altuve didn't even want any money at first. Runner going. Here's a throw from Castro, and it's right on the mark, but not in time. Stolen base for Gose. He's 12 for 16 in steals.
Can't do better than Jason Castro did right here. Great speed for Anthony Gose, no question. Breaking ball stays up. Castro able to come up right into it, and he delivered a perfect strike at the bag. Can't do better.
Now it's a 1-2 count on Cabrera with Bautista on deck. Low for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, for me, probably the biggest hurdle for Jose Altuve in his entire career was getting signed, getting somebody, the Astros in this case, to say, okay, yeah, we'll sign the small kid. That's a tough hurdle.
Evan Drellick wrote that article today in the Chronicle about him. Ground ball third. Dominguez looks the runner back. Throws to first. That's the way to do it. 2 outs. Isn't it a great story, though, that this little guy who would not take no for an answer has turned into somebody who is perhaps on the verge of being a batting champion?
So the little guy got a chance, and then he takes it further and he turns into a real star caliber player. And not only that, he's the ideal guy. You want everybody on the club to take a look at this guy. Not only how he plays the game, the type of person he is. I think Altuve is just, he's one of the great stories in all of sports right now.
And just a tremendous ambassador for the game. Jose Bautista has a hit and a walk and an all-star, and just a wonderful representative of baseball. Bounce past the mound. Altuve was overshifted. He comes back to his left, makes the play on Bautista. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. 5-1 Astros in the 5th. Comcast Sportsnet is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. It's 5-1. The Astros lead the Blue Jays. We have something going on up there on the big screen. El Grande, was there a proposal, Ash?
Absolutely, and warmly accepted, too, I might add.
Very well received by this Sunday afternoon crowd, too. The Astros batted around in the fourth. Mark Krause started that with a single, and there's a happy couple. Oh, boy, was she surprised. Krause is 1 for 2, takes the pitch for ball 1. And so naturally the beer man comes by right away. Foul back, and it's 1-1.
You have a way of always finding the positive side of things.
Todd Redmond in relief of Marcus Stroman. Stroman in 3 innings allowed 7 hits, 5 runs. That's in for a strike. Stroman had 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and threw 67 pitches. Redmond was drafted by Pittsburgh in 04. He's 29. It's 2-2 from St. Petersburg, Florida. Rangers lead the Indians at Cleveland 3-1. They're in the bottom of the 9th now with Neftali Feliz trying to close it out. It's out into left center field. Melky Cabrera coming in. 1 out. Now, regarding the Astros trip to Philly, Bill Porter explained we're going to be playing National League baseball in that National League park, and we use our bench more in National League baseball, so we thought it would be better to get a fresh player up here in Domingo Santana rather than wait to see when Jesus Guzman could go with those back spasms again. So he's protecting himself and getting prepared now for a different style of managing. Singleton is 1 for 2 with a double. There's strike 1 to John. For Singleton, it'll be a trip back to face the organization that drafted him in the Phillies.
Domingo Santana has gotten his bat going here recently. There probably is, I would think anyway, an inclination to want to get him in there one way or another, and not allow him to slip back into whatever took over when he was last with the club.
That's true. And Santana is another of those that came in that package from Philadelphia. Singleton takes, and there's a strike, 1-2. Santana, Jared Cozart, Singleton, Josh Zeid for Hunter Pence. Fouled away, 1-2. Now there will be all kinds of stories probably when we get there this week, Ash, about what the Phillies need to do to get back to their premier status when they were in the World Series. They have a very old ball club right now.
What do you do? There probably is a perceived huge drop in value for a lot of those players, so you can't really trade those contracts.
Yeah, that's the problem. Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley have the right of approval on trades. Foul back. Cliff Lee is hurt right now. Dominic Brown has been disappointing for them. And Ryan Howard does not have a tradable contract right now. Foul back. So, you know, as is sometimes the case with an organization, after reaching the World Series level and then staying with the club and, you know, hoping the players can keep doing what they're doing, but they're not able to as a team come up to that level again. Now the players are older. Now it becomes difficult to rebuild.
It's a starting staff that is not even close to what they had a few years ago when they were world championship types, and as soon as they lost Roy Halladay, they lost the big guy in the rotation. Cole Hamels has been really good. They have signed A.J. Burnett, but those players are not performing to their once normal levels.
Liner in the right center. Singleton hustles out of the box, takes a big turn. Played back in by Colby Rasmus. Singleton is 2 for 3.
May I say that was a heck of an at bat. Singleton eventually handling a pitch he could get to that was up, but he fouled off a pitch or two that were callable, but maybe not in the strike zone, and stayed alive in doing so. You know, he was fouling off and missing a lot of these pitches just a week and 2 weeks ago.
He's been one of those guys who's really turned things around. Matt Dominguez is 1 for 2 with an RBI in this game. They strike one to Matt. Now the Astros, with their 46-65 record, have a .414 winning percentage. That's better than Texas. And better than Colorado. Colorado has a .400 winning percentage right now. Phillies at .441. They're .4962. This one's thrown away. Singleton heads for second, and he's still moving. And gets to third on the two-base throwing error by the pitcher, Redmond. Last night, R.A. Dickey threw away a pickoff attempt. And Altuve wound up scoring on it.
Yeah, I think if I'm John Gibbons, manager of the Blue Jays, it might be that time for a reminder to the pitchers. Throw over to first base. Don't stop, but make it a nice throw to the inside corner of the bag. Don't try to put it all over the runner.
Now the infield comes in. 5-1 ball game. Dominguez waiting for the 0-1 pitch. Marisnik's on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Giants shut out the Mets in New York 9-0 on a 2-hitter. With 2 homers from Hunter Pence to give him 15. Madison Bumgarner the winner. He's 13-8. He beat Bartolo Colon. Out to center field, Rasmus deep enough to get Singleton home easily. On out number 2, a sac fly for Dominguez, giving him 2 runs batted in this game, and 47 for the year.
Last night, that errant throw at first base with Jose Altuve aboard was one that really looked kind of little leaguish for these Philadelphia Phillies, or for these, Toronto Blue Jays. Throw comes into third base, and it was actually a good throw. Gets on by the third baseman. Altuve scores. Yeah, that's the kind of play that embarrasses a major league club, or certainly ought to.
Strike to Marisnik. He's 2 for 2. Astros have out-hit Toronto 8-7. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marisnik both times has pulled the ball between third base and shortstop. He has scored a run and driven in a run today. The slider veers outside, and it's a 2 ball, 1 strike count. Reds lead the Marlins at Miami 7-3. They're in the top of the 9th inning. Garrett Jones hit his 12th for Miami. Marlins have now slipped 2 below 500. 54 and 56. Third baseman Kawasaki, quick release, accurate throw. And in the 5th inning, the Astros pick up a run on 1 hit with 1 error. And after 5, they lead it 6-1.
Lots of memorable plays in last night's win for the Astros over the Blue Jays, one being Robbie Grossman robbing Juan Francisco of a potential game-tying 2-run homer. Here's Bo Porter with our Geico quote of the day.
Well, I literally didn't have any reaction at all. I looked at the rest of the dugout and I go, holy smokes. But I didn't think it was going to get out off the bat. But then as I started to look at it more and more, I'm like, hold up. And Robbie Grossman made a great play.
We've seen Robbie do that before, but that was definitely one of the plays that stuck out to Bo Porter in that win. Momentum staying on the Astros side with that one.
Thanks, Julia. Yeah, he robbed one in Oakland, too, last year. There's Navarro taking strike one. Very good timing by Robbie. Navarro is grounded out and he's walked. Altuve's out in shallow right field. 1-1. It's got to be a particular thrill, though. It's one thing to drive in runs, hit homers, but taking runs away from the other team. Mike Trout kind of play. 1-2. First base, Singleton. One out for Feldman.
So Bo didn't think this ball was getting out, but I was begging the whole way. Stay in here. Robbie Grossman made it kind of a moot point because he's just going to go up and bring it back. Heck of a play in right field. And that is, again, for me, the most impactful play of last night's ball game.
6-1 lead right now, and it's Francisco batting. Francisco 1 for 2. Tigers lead the Rockies 4-0. They're in the top of the 9th in the Motor City. Joakim Soria in the game. Fly ball goes toward the center fielder Marisnik. That's 2 outs.
This ball game series has a chance of putting a whale of a hurt on these Blue Jays.
It sure does.
They're only 2.5 back at the start of play today, but they had momentum, if you believe in that sort of thing, on their side, and it looks like it's changing decidedly.
They're off tomorrow. Then they play at home against Baltimore and Detroit. So they are coming up against 2 first-place teams in the next week. Colby Rasmus is 1 for 2. After that, they go to Seattle. So the next 9 games after this one could determine a whole lot for this club as far as what the month of September has in store. There's ball 1. They could use Encarnacion. They could use a few other people who are injured. We mentioned Adam Lind, the third baseman. 2 balls, no strikes. Brett Laurie. And they probably could use pitching. Some think that they should be actively searching the waiver wire. There will be some guys placed on waivers who probably would be worthwhile, at least to add to a staff for a month or 2. In the air, and that's behind second base. Marisnik comes in for it quickly. Gets a nice jump. That is 6 straight outs for Scott Feldman. We go to the last of the 6th inning. 6-1 Houston.
Blue Jays in time to introduce you to our progressive fan of the game. I'm with Bill, who's taken in the game wearing a Roy Oswalt jersey, so I know you're a fan. And they gave out bobbleheads today, which is just Legends Weekend. But what was it like for you to watch a guy like Roy Oswalt pitch? Why do you like him?
It was just great growing up watching all those guys, Berkman and Oswald. I mean, they're just guys that have made this team what they are today. I mean, despite, the losing that we've done the last few years, we're all still fans, and we all have faith that the team's going to be better in the future, and then we know that the owners and the GMs know what they're doing.
It's great stuff right there from Bill. And I got to make fun of you, though, because you're sitting with a Blue Jays fan. He's moved since. He doesn't want to be on camera, but what's that about? Who's this guy? And his Rasmus jersey.
Well, his fiance is one of my very best friends, and he's from Canada. He can't help it. It is what it is.
Okay. I just had to ask. All right, Brownie, back up to you.
Interesting points, though. There's the Roy Oswalt bobblehead given out today to the fans. Roy Oswalt, during an 8-year period, led the Major Leagues in wins. That's strike one to Marwin Gonzalez. Gonzalez 0 for 1 with a sac bunt. New pitcher in the game, Aaron Sanchez, throws that one back to the backstop. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count from the 22-year-old right-hander from Barstow, California. He's 2-0 with a 1.42 ERA. Good-looking arm. We saw him in the Thursday night opener. In fact, he was the winning pitcher. He worked 2 perfect innings with 1 strikeout in that one for his second Major League win. 1-2 for Sanchez. Redmond in 2 innings allowed 1 hit, 1 run. It was not earned. He walked 2 and did not have a strikeout. Two balls, 2 strikes to Marwin Gonzalez. Now the Orioles have won today 1-0 over Seattle. And they have a 3-game lead as of right now over Toronto. Yankees 5.5 back. So line to right field. Caught by Gose. 1 out.
I would have loved to have been in that Tampa Bay Rays clubhouse at the moment they realized that David Price had been traded and that the season in essence was being sold off.
Yeah.
Of course, nobody would say that last part. The players might privately. But yeah, that's a tough moment in a clubhouse.
Jose Altuve, that is the batter. He has a single and an intentional walk today. Has scored a run. So the Orioles winning with a first inning run, 1-0 over Seattle today. Chris Tillman got his 8th win. Kawasaki charges and unloads. 2 outs.
That was wound up tightly.
He's a burst, isn't he?
Oh man,
shot out of a cannon.
Jose beats this with some third baseman, but Kawasaki gets to this before it can bounce again for the second time.
Instant acceleration for Kawasaki.
I think somebody sped up the film right there.
He did a wheelie.
Wow.
2 outs, and it's Robbie Grossman. Robbie has 2 walks, 1 with the bases loaded and a strikeout. So Tillman with a gem, stopping Seattle on 4 hits over 7 innings. Got relief help from Andrew Miller, who could potentially be a very good trade acquisition for Baltimore. He has been so far. And Zach Britton got his 23rd save. Iwakuma was the loser for the Mariners. The Mariners still struggling to find some support for Robinson Cano in that lineup. Kendrys Morales hit behind him today. They had Kristen Orfia in the lineup. Austin Jackson. Nothing from either one of them today. Strike. And it's 2-1 now to Robbie. Corey Hart's gone down with more knee problems, and the Mariners may not have enough to get there for the playoffs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That could be a furious race for that second playoff spot. The Angels are looking very strong for the first playoff spot in the wild card races.
Chris Tillman was originally drafted by Seattle.
I don't think he enjoyed that too much today.
Yeah, that makes it kind of fun.
3-2 now as Orbit watches with some of his friends.
wonder if they came on transit together. Maybe the bus.
Well, that would be an interesting ride. Struck him out looking. That's a 1-2-3 sixth for Sanchez. 6-1 Houston after 6.
As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game today. It's Haley Sorensen. Enjoying family, friends, and baseball. Great pick, Haley. Tweet your photos to #CSNH fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. 6-1, the Astros lead it. And now 8 straight have been retired by, or 6 straight rather, by Scott Feldman. He works to Kawasaki leading off the 6th inning. Kawasaki is grounded out both times. 7 singles in the game for the Blue Jays. There is ball 1. Now, the Blue Jays have scored 516 runs this year. They are 3rd in the American League in runs scored. In this 4-game series, they have not had any more than 1 run scored in any inning. And they've had 2 extra base hits since game 1. 1-1 the count to Kawasaki. Even though they won 6-5 in game 1, they had 4 solo homers in that game. So they scored in 6 different innings, just 1 run in each of those innings. Rather odd. 2-2.
Strange days indeed.
19,946 the paid attendance. Last night's crowd really enjoyed it. Spectacular game last night. Inside for ball 3 to Kawasaki. Cleveland got 2 in the bottom of the 9th and has forced the Texas Rangers to go to extra innings. It's now 3-3 in the last of the 10th. David Murphy, the former Ranger, had a day with a 2-out homer to tie it in the 9th. Off Neftali Feliz. Kawasaki strikes out. That's 7 in a row now for Feldman. That's his first strikeout of the day.
Well, back-to-back starts now for Scott. Very strong. Leaves one up and away, trying to backdoor a little cutter. Doesn't bring it to the plate, but still gets the punch out.
Feldman now with his second straight strong start. Gave up 1 run in 7 innings last time out. And now he has 1 out in the 7th inning with Goins batting. Bouncing it out to Altuve. Over to Singleton. 2 outs quickly for Feldman. Feldman still has not reached the 90 pitch mark yet. He's retired 8 in a row, and now it's Gose. Gose is 1 for 2.
I wasn't sure back in the first inning this is what we were going to be looking at in the 7th. Didn't hurt at all that Jose Reyes led off with that base hit and was thrown out at second.
No, it did not. Strike to Ghost. The Astros trying to win the season series from the Jays. 4-3 and finish this 10-game homestand at 5-5. Strike. Now the Rangers come to town next weekend, and Yu Darvish pitched for them today in Cleveland. He allowed 1 run in 7 innings. That would put him on a course to pitch here over next weekend.
He could lead off that series.
Little dribbler, Singleton, tossing to Feldman, who slides, and nice backhanded toss. A quick one from Singleton. A well-coordinated play. 3-1 for out number 3. That's 9 straight retired by Feldman. Good weekend for the Astros right here. We're going to keep it right here after that 3-1 play for the singing of God Bless America.
As we welcome servicemen who have returned from active duty onto the field, we invite you to please stand and join the Champion Sisters as we pause to honor our great nation, as well as thank and salute all of those who protect our freedom around the world each and every day with the singing of God Bless America. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kathy Ross and Texas bluesman Johnny Riley.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
And it's the bottom of the 7th, and time for our Mako big hit of the game. It came in the bottom of the 3rd. Bases loaded for Chris Carter. He fell behind 0-2, worked a 3-2 count, and then came through with a 2-run single to give the Astros a 2-1 lead. The 3 and 4 hitters coming up big for the Astros here lately. Bo Porter talking about this last night. Jason Castro and Chris Carter having big nights yesterday, both with home runs and 2 RBIs, and he said that's where our offense has been lacking. This would really turn things around for our team if we could get Carter and Castro hot, guys.
Well, that seems to be happening. Thanks, Julia, for that. Carter and Castro coming up first and second here in the bottom of the 7th inning against pitcher number 4 for Toronto, Dustin McGowan. Aaron Sanchez had a 1-2-3 6th with a strikeout. Big ball 1 to Carter. Carter with that 2-run single Julia just showed us. 1 for 3 today. 4 and 3. Dustin McGowan has an ERA of 4.07.
Once upon a time, McGowan, the look to future ace of the staff for the Blue Jays. Didn't work out that way. He's had issues. He's a diabetic and I don't know how much that has factored in for him, but had problems with his arm and staying healthy. But boy, did he have one of those great arms.
Had right shoulder surgery in 2012. He had labrum surgery back in 2009, so he's had a lot of downtime. That's inside for a 2-1 count. Last year he spent some time on the shelf with a strained oblique. He's had plantar fasciitis in the right foot. This guy's been through some difficult times. You're right.
Came within an out of a no-hitter. I believe that was 2007.
Well, he was 12 and 10 that year with a 4.08 ERA, making 27 starts. He was the 33rd player drafted in the 2000 draft, now 32 years old. Sliders tap foul by Carter, keeping the count at 2-2.
So, you know, sometimes that long looked for big ace comes through the minor league system, and you think you've gotten over the hump because the guy has now made it to the major league club, and then sometimes it just can't work out.
3-2 now to Carter. First place Washington with a 2.5 game lead over Atlanta is beating the Phillies 4-0 in the top of the 9th in Washington. Carter strikes out. The Astros head to our nation's original capital and the city of brotherly love for a 3-game set against the Philadelphia Phillies. Pre-game live starts at 5:30 Tuesday night on Comcast Sportsnet. Forget about that original capital, Ash.
I was actually kind of dancing in my head real quickly there as you said the nation's original capital.
You were dancing in your head?
Well, you ought to join me sometime.
Okay, I'll try to get in there.
I'll tell you what, we keep dust on the floor and it's a nice slick surface. It's great.
Castro has grounded out 3 times. Well, Julia is looking at this as a historic trip. She has not been to Philadelphia before. So she's going to run the steps of the Art Museum, a la Rocky.
Oh, boy, I can just see her getting to the top there and dancing.
Well, it could happen. Be ready for it.
I need one of you to bring the boom box to play the Rocky music for me.
I thought what you really meant was the boom stick as you went up to the top. Now it's time.
We're not bringing that. We can't get that on the airplane. Too much weight. 2 balls. We always bring the boom box and listen to it on the plane, Julia.
Good. Bring it to the steps, and if you'll just Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, have you heard Brownie whistle? Dun, 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 dun,
oh, there we go.
Yeah, with the whistle, it's great.
Yeah. Ground ball to first, Francisco. 2 outs. So what comes to mind as far as the tourist attractions that will be on your list?
That is a big one.
Yeah.
The Liberty Bell.
Yes.
Do we know? Is that far from?
No, it's not
downtown, or
no, it's right. It's right downtown.
Okay, good.
Liberty Bell and cheesesteaks.
Yes. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm told 1790 to 1800, the nation's original capital.
Wow.
A lot of historic buildings there, cathedrals where presidents, President Washington was in. You've got to go to these places.
Okay, lots to do in 3 days.
10-year run. They thought they were built for a longer run, but it didn't work out that way.
Kawasaki watches that one go out of play.
Wonder if that was a case of the farm system letting them down.
That might be. That might be. Then there's the U.S. Mint, Julia.
This is something I need to put on my list.
Not high on the list.
Okay.
Not high on the
Okay.
list.
I need more food suggestions. Is cheesesteaks the only thing they have going on
It's
there?
kind of their specialty.
Okay.
Get some Philly pizza with extra grease. I think that's the requirement.
Oh yeah, Philly pizza. Yeah, definitely get that.
Okay.
And then there's Atlantic cod.
Okay. Yeah.
Always a delicacy for the table.
I'm being told soft pretzels might be
That's another one.
An
That's a
option
Philly thing?
in between meals.
Yes.
I hear there's a lot of options for cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
Geno's and Pats.
Yeah.
Do I need it? How do I decide?
I don't know.
I think you go to the man on the street, and you're good at that.
Krause is down on strikes. That's a 1-2-3 7th inning for McGowan. We move to the 8th, 6-1 Astros.
Of his rookie career, going 4-0, 6 starts, and a 1.99 ERA, 2 complete games, and a strikeout to walk ratio of 9-1. I want to tell you, when this guy came on the scene, the command was immaculate. The fastball was Randy Johnson-like. It was the likes of nobody else that we were watching for a period of time. He maintained greatness for a long time.
Wound up second in Astros history in wins, didn't he?
Yeah, you know, I reflect back, and it almost doesn't feel like he was around that long to accomplish everything he did. He was some kind of special. Look at that extension on the right arm. And he was a fierce competitor, too.
L.J. Holmes enters the game in left field, taking over there. Jose Reyes is the batter. Mark Krause had been the left fielder. Krause was 1 for 4. Scott Feldman has been mowing down Blue Jays 9 in a row. There's strike 1 to Reyes. Reyes has 2 of these 7 Toronto singles. It's 1-1. Feldman shooting for win number 5 of the year. That misses, and it's a 2-ball 1-strike count. Ash, you played 965 games for the Astros, 205 games for the Blue Jays. Only one other player appeared in 200 or more games for both of these teams. Who was it?
No, those 2 clubs.
Little tap out to Altuve, barehanding, throwing, safe at first. Reyes gets his 3rd hit.
Wow, you just froze me. I'm on the dance floor and I can't seem to get off.
Cliff Johnson.
Stop.
Yeah.
Really?
Cliff Johnson. Heathcliff. He played 376 games for the Astros and 400 for the Blue Jays. You talked about Roy Halladay earlier. Here's Cabrera coming up. Cabrera is 0 for 3.
I was a better hitter than Roy.
Okay, I'll buy that. Feldman, Marwin Gonzalez, and John Singleton collaborate on the third Astro double play of the day.
Wow, did that make that routine? And that helps the cause of Scott Feldman immensely. Ball hit sharply back, and he provides a perfect feed for Marwin. Doesn't get much easier.
3 double plays, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. This one. And now here's Bautista. He is 1 for 2 with a walk. There's ball 1. Oswalt won 129 games in his first 8 years with the Astros. Most for any major league pitcher over that span. More than Mike Messina, who had 123. More than Mark Burley, who had 118. More than Roy Halladay, who had 118. And wound up 129 for that 8-year period, 01 through 08.
Well, that's really good stuff. You're talking about some names that were compiling wins. You know, the folks in Toronto will, without hesitation, say Roy Halladay is heading to the Hall of Fame.
Will they?
You bet they will.
2-2.
I don't know if there's total realism there. He was great in postseason when he got to Philadelphia, and hitters will tell you he was as tough as they came at that time. But I think they would mention Oswalt in that same breath.
True. Bautista strikes out after the double play ball. What an 8th inning for Feldman. And it's 6-1 Astros, bottom of the 8th ahead.
Lead the Blue Jays. The Astros face off against their interstate rivals, the Texas Rangers, in a 3-game series next weekend at Minute Maid Park. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. Guys, it was fun to walk around, see everyone hanging out with their Roy Oswalt bobbleheads as we look back at his career and what he did for the Houston Astros and check out some of these numbers. Good stuff. The wins there being 143 wins. Wow, the strikeouts. Good stuff from Oswalt, guys.
Powerful pitcher, great competitor, and 1 win away from tying Joe Niekro for the all-time top spot in wins on the Astros list, but nonetheless he preferred to be with a winner, and he was traded to the Phillies.
I think of Roy when he first came to the big leagues, how good he was, and he was a guy that just didn't have anything to say. He would let his pitching do the talking, and his arm did a lot of big talking.
Now it's Chad Jenkins, pitcher number 5 on the mound. 6-1, the Astros leading it. John Singleton, the batter. Singleton is 2 for 3. Has a double and a single and 2 runs scored. There's ball 1. Singleton with 10 home runs now. And the Astros are the only team in the majors with 2 rookies who have at least 10 homers. George Springer being the other. 3rd time in history the Astros have had 2 or more rookies with at least 10 homers. In '91, Jeff Bagwell and Luis Gonzalez had 10 or more. And in 2000, they had 4. Lance Berkman, Julio Lugo, Mitch Molesky, and Chris Truby, all in double figures in homers as rookies. It's a shot. Singleton puts it in the air and back in center field. There's Rasmus. 1 out.
I thought Chris Truby was going to turn into a pretty good player.
Yeah.
Big, strong third baseman.
It certainly looked good for him that year. Yeah, he's one of those guys who was expected to be around for a while. He wasn't around all that long. Matt Dominguez has driven in 2 in this game, going 1 for 2 with a sac fly. Strike 1 for Jenkins. It's 1-1. If the Astros win this one, they will be 12-15 against the teams in the American League East. Out to right center field again for Domingo. He has a slot and he's going for a double. Picked up by Ghost. 2-base hit. 16th double of the year for Matt Dominguez.
Well, that slot's a good one to find for a right-hand hitter. Going to the gap the other way on fastballs, and then you can turn on the breaking ball and yank it. But if you're driving in that direction, you're going to stay on the pitch well. Look no further than the way that right shoulder drops down and through the ball as he hits it.
That's only the 2nd extra base hit in this game. 16 doubles for Matty D now. 9 hits for the Astros, and Marisnik has a couple of them. Jake has driven in a run and scored 1, going 2 for 3. Rangers and Indians are still tied 3-3. They're in the bottom of the 11th now in Cleveland. That's strike 1. Cardinals 3, Brewers 2, top of the 8th in St. Louis. Mark Reynolds hit his 19th for Milwaukee. Matt Holliday number 12 for St. Louis, and that's a fiercely contested NL Central right now. Milwaukee 1.5 ahead of Pittsburgh, 2 ahead of St. Louis, 5.5 ahead of Cincinnati. Ground ball 3rd. Whoa! Kawasaki with the throw. That is pretty dynamic for out number 2.
Otherwise, Jake Marisnik might have a 3rd hit on his afternoon. This is a tough play. Again, it's that second hop that just makes life miserable down at 3rd base. Very nicely done. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Astros.com for your details.
Marwin Gonzalez is 0 for 2 with a sack. Line drive to Kawasaki, who ended in the 8th inning. No runs, a hit, and a man left. We move to the 9th. 6-1 Houston. AT&T UVerse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT. Mobilizing your world. We'll wind through the concourse there on a Sunday afternoon. 6-1. The Astros lead the Blue Jays. Going to the ninth inning, we go to John Kelly.
Earlier in the game, we asked you guys what your favorite play from last night's game was. There were so many, and you guys responded well on Twitter. We went ahead and picked Game Time Arts. Fulte blowing 3 straight 99-mile-an-hour heaters past all-star slugger Batista energized the crowd and gave us a look at the future. And Big Beck tweeted, favorite was John Singleton huffing and puffing around third, only to be rewarded by replay with the home run he earned. He likes seeing the big guy around the bases.
Thanks, John. There's strike one here as the ninth inning gets underway for Scott Feldman. Feldman going for his first complete game as an Astro. He's had 2 major league complete games. Both of them came last year, 1 in each league. He pitched for the Cubs in Baltimore last year. And Deoner Navarro fouls that one for an 0-2 count. It's quite within his grasp to go the distance. He's at 102 pitches so far. The Astros have had 4 complete games this season, all by Dallas Keuchel. 64 strikes for Scott Feldman. He gave up 2 hits in the first inning, 3 in the second. Then it began to turn for him. There were some broken bat loopers in there. He got double play balls in the second and third, another one in the 8th. Altuve's out in shallow right field, and that's easy for him. Navarro's just trotting up the line, 1 out. Feldman retired 9 in a row from the 5th through the 7th.
Boy, it's been a beautiful day for Scott, too, and impressive to watch him work into the final inning. But some double plays have helped along the way. That was really impressively done. Slow roller on a speedy hitter. Jose Altuve with that long backhanded feed to start a double play. And Scott Feldman able to rack up a couple of strikeouts along the way. He's not going to strike out a whole lot, but he starts the final of the double plays on the day, at least to this point.
Ball 1 to Juan Francisco. He's 1 for 3.
Look, I think the reality with Scott is there are going to be some base runners, but if he can get those ground balls and create some double plays, he's got something going.
Matt Dominguez comes over into foul territory. 2 outs now. And the Astros 1 out away from a 5-5 homestand. And it would be 5 wins in the last 7 games for Houston. They've rebounded very nicely from being swept by the Marlins to open this homestand, taking 2 of 3 from first place Oakland, and now another team with playoff contention, Toronto, about to fall in a series, it would appear. Colby Rasmus is 1 for 3. This would be 3 of 4 in the win column for the Astros against the Blue Jays, and they would be taking the season series 4-3. Ball 1. Feldman, a 12-game winner last year, shooting for victory number 5 of this season. Throws it in for a strike. His ERA in April was 1.69, in May 4.71, in June 5.34, in July 5.58. Starting August in a much better trend. With a strike, and it's 1-2. Popped up. Singleton and Dominguez look at each other. Feldman makes the catch. That's the way the complete game ends for Scott Feldman. He catches the pop-up. The Astros take 3 of 4 from Toronto. 3rd career complete game, and the first as an Astro for Scott Feldman. He gets win number 5. The Astros get the 5th complete game for the club this season. And here's the way it ended.
I complete what I start and I catch what comes my way. That's Scott Feldman. Oh, what a great afternoon for Scott. Offense wasn't bad either.
It's an 8-hit complete game, taking 2 hours and 39 minutes. The final score, Houston 6, Toronto 1.